Hi, I'm Crochet with the Shrew and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be doing a tutorial for one of these cute little octos. This is my Opal the Octo pattern and I have a PDF up on my Etsy if you want to follow along with the written version or if you prefer that. But we're going to be doing a very in-depth tutorial going through each of the steps in crocheting this little guy. Yeah, super excited. Definitely let me know how yours turned out and any future patterns you'd like to see. Let's get started. Okay, welcome to this tutorial for a pocket octo, and this is Opal, the pocket octo pattern, and today we're going to be making one of these little cuties. So let's get started first with the materials. This should be a really quick and easy one. If you are a beginner, this should be a really good pattern for you, but if you're having trouble with individual stitches, I'd recommend going and finding a video that kind of teaches you each specific stitch. But yeah, let's get started. So first for materials, I'm going to be using a ball of Premier Parfait chunky yarn. This is a bulky yarn and chenille. And with this yarn, I use a 5mm crochet hook. This is a crochet hook from the company Furls. And then I have a little sewing needle here. And then I have a stitch marker, which is optional. And then we have some scissors. You can use any scissors. And then safety eyes. And this one, which size you use can depend on your personal taste. I probably will use 10mm for this one. And then finally some stuffing, but we don't need that right now. So let's get started. First thing that we're going to do is create the magic circle, but the reason why that's in quotes is because I do not like using magic circles. I use the 2-chain method. So first you make a loop, pull through, and we have this starting. And then now we're going to chain 2. And then going into the first chain, we are going to single crochet 8 times. So this is kind of acting as our magic ring. So it's 8 single crochet in the magic ring. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, small yarn for myself. 6, 7, and 8. And I'm going to use the stitch marker because usually for a pattern this simple I wouldn't use one, but I think it does help when you're watching these tutorials so you kind of get an idea of how it works. But so I always put the stitch marker in the last stitch, and this kind of marks the 8th stitch for this row. So now we're going to do an increase in each of these. So an increase is just 2 single crochets in every stitch. So I'm going to go in, we're going to do 1 and 2. And then same all the way around. So 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8, 9 and 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And then we do the last 2 into where our stitch marker is. So we can take it out, and then we're going to do 15 and 16 into that stitch. And then now that we finished that, I put the stitch marker right back into that last stitch again. Okay, now we are going to do a just a round of single crochets, so 16 single crochets. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16 into the same stitch that the stitch marker is in. Now we can take this out, put it back in. Cool. Now we're going to do 3 single crochets and an increase and repeat that 4 times to get a total of 20 stitches. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, and then an increase in the next stitch, which is 2 single crochets in the next stitch. So we're going to get 4 and then 5 in that same stitch. And then we're going to repeat that again. So we have 6, 7, 8, and then 9, 10 in one stitch. We have 11, 12, 13, and then 14 and 15 in the same stitch. 14 and 15, and then you have 16, 17, 18, and then 19 and 20 in the same stitch as the stitch marker. Cool. Now we are going to do 3 single crochets and a decrease, and then we're going to end up right back at 16. So we have 1, 2, 3, and then I like to take out the starting. We'll use that later. And then, so this is 4, doing a decrease. And then we have 5, 6, 7, and then we're going to do another decrease where I just take the 2 front loops like this, go through. That's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and then 16. Cool. Okay. Now, and in the front loop, we're going to do a bobble. So in front loop only, we're going to do bobble stitch, slip stitch 8 times all the way around. So for a bobble, all we're going to do is basically do kind of a double crochet, but you don't finish. And we're going to do that till we have 5 on the hook. Yeah, so you're going to do it until you have 5 of these, and then you can go through, and that's one bobble. And then we're going to slip stitch also in the front loop only. And then we're going to repeat that all the way around. So we'll have 8 bobbles since there's 16. So this is kind of how our baubles are coming out. Super cute. I feel like this is the hardest part in the pattern, but I think once you kind of get used to doing bobble stitches, they get a lot more fun to do and not just tedious. But it's actually one of my favorite stitches because I like how they look and they give you a lot of flexibility with making different items. Even in the gummy bear pattern, bobble stitches kind of help you with getting the ears, the arms, the legs, very, very useful without having to crochet full different parts with multiple different stitches. But I know that they're not everyone's favorite. Last one. Okay, so I'm going to do the last slip stitch, which is in the front loop only, as we've been doing. And okay, so I'm just going to put my stitch marker over here. And now we are going to go in the back loops of this row, not the row from before, because I know sometimes some patterns use that. Just these bobble stitches, we're going to go in the back loops now, and we're just going to single crochet all the way around for 16. 1, 2, and you might need to kind of like flip it back a little bit to get a better look at some of those back loops. 3, actually I might kind of flip it inside out. Actually no, I won't do that, it'll be hard for the video. Okay. 3, 4, it's always so much harder to film on camera, like, because the tripod is kind of in between me and the plushie, but it's okay. We will manage. Yeah, as you can see, I'm just getting that back loop, going all the way around. I think the thing that I like about this pattern is it's quick and easy, and also once you've done this pattern, like, you've honestly learned like a lot of the skills that you need for crocheting different plushies. Like, pretty much all you use is like, okay, bobble stitches, front loop, back loop, like this like covers a lot of stuff. And then obviously there's like a little bit more, like there's half double crochet, double crochets, like there's a few more stitches, but you start to really get the hang of like the different techniques involved. So that's why I really like this, like especially when I was starting out. This was a pattern that, you know, was, yeah, I had a lot of fun designing because it felt like I was really cementing like those skills that I had learned. Okay, cool. So that is all done. I'm going to go ahead and take out the stitch marker now. And now we can place our safety eyes. So for the safety eyes, I like to do it kind of in the center. So I'm going to pick out 2 safety eyes. I'm going to do size 10. And I will probably play around a little bit with where they go. Oh, I feel like one of these is a 9. Oh, there we go. Oh, so cute. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and add some stuffing now. Oh, my bad. I need to put the backs on. Missed the most fun part. Okay. I'm going to pop that on. And then pop this one on. Nice. That went surprisingly well. So we can stuff now. And you can be generous, but don't make it too stuffed. So I usually like to put in a little excess and then I can remove if needed, because you don't want it to be like kind of falling out like that. So I'm going to take out a little bit so it's kind of contained to the top portion so that when we, yeah. Okay. Now I'm going to thread my needle. And then the technique I like to do for this is pretty simple. I usually will just do front, back, like front loop, back loop, all the way around. Front loop. And if you have any other tutorials that you would like, or if you're trying to learn any specific parts, or you think like a more detailed like tutorial for beginners would be useful, I would definitely love to do that. So leave any of your suggestions below in the comments for any future patterns that you would like to see. And yeah, definitely subscribe if you want to see more tutorials like this. I also do lots of other like crochet content videos. I do some like week in the life vlogs and things like that, which is like running a small crochet business and how I, you know, started this journey and everything. So would love it if you want to join me. But yeah, so I just finished that. I like pulled it to tighten it close. I'm going to go and basically push my needle out at the top where we started, just so both my ends end up in the same place. And this is like a nice little hack that I like. And then the other thing that I want to do now is I'm basically going to take the back of my needle and just like pop out some of these bobbles. I think that this makes a difference. I don't know if other people even do this, but I just like to, I think it makes them a little bit pronounced. I just kind of like push them out a little bit in case they got squished in the rest of the chaos. But yeah, so that looks super good. And then now here's where you could attach a keychain. In this case, I am just going to go ahead and tie this closed. So I'm going to double knot both of these ends. You can, actually I might triple knot. And then once you've done that, it is safe to cut. So we can cut these guys. I leave just a tiny bit left. And then I'm going to use my sewing needle to kind of push them back into the plushie as much as possible. And then I will just kind of squish everything into place a little bit. And then yeah, here's the finished Octo. So cute, super squishy, and the perfect little desk buddy.